Hey everybody, and welcome to the third video of Rhythm Fundamentals. And although I am talking to you through the magic of the interweb, I can just tell that you're very excited. Our last video was just so exciting that you can just barely contain yourself and you just had to watch this one again, or this next one. So without further ado, let's get into it. For the third video today, we're going to be talking about, again, whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, but not just talking about how they fit in measures, how do you count them as well? Okay, so here we have a measure of quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, something that we definitely have seen before in the last lesson. If I were to put our metronome on and perform this, it would sound like this. And remember, quarter notes equal 1 beat, half notes equals 2 beats, whole notes equals 4 beats, when you have the 4 on the bottom, which means that quarter notes are assigned the beat, right? So here we go. 2, here I go. Ta, 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 ta. All right, so there you have it. Oh, forgot to say, there's 4 beats in each of these measures. So this is worth 4 beats, all this is worth 4 beats, so on and so forth. But you know what? There's something else we got to talk about, because there's another kind of level of understanding I want you to be able to show me. I don't just want you to be able to show me how the rhythms sound on ta like that, or by clapping it or whatever. I also want you to tell me exactly what notes lie on what beats of the measure. So here we have 4 quarter notes, right? Ta, 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 ta. Well, if we go a step further, you could say that that quarter note's on beat 1, this quarter note's on beat 2, that quarter note's on 3, and the last one's on beat 4. And so you would write that like that on top of the notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, you might perform it that way, and instead of saying ta, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4 as the metronome was going on. All right, and then up next, the next measure, you start with that half note. And remember, in this time signature, with the quarter notes being the beats, a half note is worth 2 beats. So what would you write for the counting there? Well, I would put a 1, but then maybe I put a -2 after that, just to specify in my counting that that half note you're holding for beats 1 and 2 together. And then the next quarter notes after that, the first one's beat 3, and then the next one is beat 4. The next measure is super easy. That whole note in this time signature, yet again, is worth 4 beats, which is why it's all by itself in that measure. So if I were to count that out and write it above, I would just go 1-2-3-4. Or maybe just go 1-4, just to save space, which means that you're holding that whole note out all the way from beat 1 all the way through beat 4. Right? And then the last measure, you start with a quarter note, which is, takes care of beat 1, so you'd write a 1 there. The half note starts on beat 2, and that half note is worth 2 beats, so it takes care of not only beat 2, but also beat 3, so 2-3. And then to finish the measure up, you got that quarter note, and that takes care of beat 4. So if I were to maybe play this or perform this again, and instead just, say the counting and not on ta, this is what I would do. 2, here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 4. See how that works? Alright, so on this slide, I have another time signature, and I have some bars and measures. Nothing's filled in yet, but I'm wondering if you can tell me something that's maybe a little different. Yeah, what's going on with this 3 here? There used to be a 4, but now there's a 3. What does that mean? Well, our bottom number is still 4, and that tells us that quarter notes are assigned the beat. But now, we're only going to be fitting 3 beats in each measure. Okay, so if we actually stuffed nothing but quarter notes in these measures, that would look like this. Okay, so 3 quarter notes in each measure. But you can also use some things other than quarter notes, right? Because that'd be really boring. So here is a 3 measures of 3/4 time signature using quarter notes and half notes. So let me perform this for you, and before I do that, just remember that because the quarter note is still assigned the beat. Even with a different amount of beats in each measure, each one of these half notes is going to be worth 2 beats because there's 2 quarter notes within each of those half notes. So here we go. 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. Right? So that's what it sounds like on ta, but the whole point of this lesson is talking about counting. So how do you count this rhythm? Let's show that now. So there's the counting. This takes care of beat 1. This half note takes care of beats 2 and 3. This measure is easy. It's just 1, 2, 3. Then the last measure is the half starts with a half note, so that's beat 1 and 2, followed by a 1 quarter note, which is beat 3. So yeah, and then obviously notice how you're only ever going to 3 in the counting. You're not using the number 4, because again, you only have 3 beats in each measure. Alright, so I'm going to just count this again, or perform this again, but this time not saying it on ta, but I'm going to count it. And I want to tell you this now, with any video, doing any concept, when I'm demonstrating something, I very much encourage you to kind of either clap along or count it out aloud with me, or just at least say it on ta, because that's the practice that you need to really kind of get this in your hands and in your head as far as understanding it. So join me if you'd like. I encourage it. Here we go. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. By the way, before we move on, think about a whole note, right? A whole note equals 4 quarter notes. So why did I not even bother talking about whole notes here? Well, just like I said, it's worth 4 quarter notes. How many quarter notes can you fit in each measure here? Only 3, which is why you will never be able to use a whole note when you're in a 3/4 time signature. Okay, so important to remember. Speaking of a time signature you can't use whole notes in, let's talk about this time signature. So here in this case we have 2/4 as our time signature. Again, the quarter note is still the beat, but now we can only fit 2 quarter notes in each measure, or 2 beats in each measure. Not a whole lot, which is, like I said, just another reason why whole notes won't work not only in 3/4 but also in 2/4. They just can't fit in there. Okay, so 2/4, pretty straightforward, kind of the same idea. This is what this sounds like. 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. There you go, just 3 measures worth. If I were to count this, that would look like this. And if I were to count it while performing it, it would go like this. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so that's the whole lesson. The worksheet that is due will include not only 4/4, but 3/4 and 2/4. I'm going to be asking you to provide counting. I'm going to be asking you to perform rhythms. And I'm also going to be asking you to provide bar lines that I took out, and where do those go based on how many beats in each measure you have. Okay, so a lot to do on this worksheet. Good luck. Let me know if there's any questions, and just like always, we'll see you next lesson.